You are not listening to the Renegade Podcast, and I have the one and only Sean Chandler. He's a YouTube TV movie reviewer. He's been in the game for the last decade plus. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Sure, I may not agree with everything he says about his reviews, but he's honest and he's a pretty interesting guy to listen to. So, 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Okay. So this interview is going to be audio only. If you're cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But how's your day been?
Productive.
Okay.
Shot a video, edited it, posted it, just did a 2-hour live stream, and now we're talking. So getting a lot done.
So my first question is really, where did the channel name start? Like, where did it come from? And logo, was it something that you always had, or was it something that you had to come up with sort of on the fly type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, Sean Chandler Talks About is what I've always had for this brand. I had prototypes that predated Sean Chandler Talks About. They did something called the Non-Essentials. That existed. And you can even look at the earliest videos on my YouTube channel, and it'll say the Non-Essentials, which was a blog that I played around with and never got any traction with or was consistent on it. But whenever I was looking to start this version of it that obviously clicked and has turned into my career, it's kind of as simple as I wanted something. It is meant to be just very literal.
Yeah.
Sean Chandler Talks About.
Yeah.
Sean Chandler talking about whatever I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so there was kind of almost, it didn't really play out this way, but Sean Chandler talks about Ghostbusters. Sean Chandler talks about Star Trek Beyond. Sean Chandler talks about Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, whatever the thing is I'm talking about, whatever it's just meant to be like very direct and literal. And so I talk about stuff. That's what this is. And, it didn't, and I think maybe the original version of my intro or whatever had, and it's Sean Chandler Talks About, and then it would have the title of the thing. But, I didn't stick with that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it moved away from that. But that's just kind of where it came from. It's the sort of thing where it's interesting, something that I kind of put so little thought into.
Yeah.
And even now, it's weird to me to even I guess the name of my channel is Sean Chandler Talks About, which obviously I say that all the time. I see it all the time. I post on it all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know it's Sean Chandler Talks About, but I don't put any thought into it because it was just some whatever thought I had on a whim.
Yeah.
9.5 years ago, and I did something, and I didn't even stick with that version of it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a lingering thread from this past, from the first iteration that I iterated past a long time ago.
Yeah.
This is kind of funny to me the way it worked out.
Wow, that's a great answer. So it's interesting. You said that I saw your Predator video, and again, I really like that one review you did. How long does it take to make a video? Because it seems like you're pumping out videos like damn near every single day. I mean, I can't imagine just the process of doing all of that and try to balance it with other things. So how do you how long does it take to make a video of yours?
I mean, every video is different. How long did it take me to make my Frankenstein video today? Not very long. How long did it take me to make my last MCU ranking of 50 plus movies and TV shows?
Yeah.
That took a long time.
Yeah.
Just to sit down and record that MCU ranking took substantially longer than it took me to film and edit the Frankenstein video.
Yeah.
So, I sat down to shoot the Frankenstein review. I did not have any notes, and I shot it in under 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And there was, I think, 1, 2, there was less than 10 cuts in the whole thing. There might have only been about 5 cuts in it.
Wow.
It's like the cold open,
Yeah.
the, hey, leave a comment. The main body of it, I think there was 2 cuts in that,
Yeah.
2 or 3 cuts in the main body of it,
Yeah.
and then at the end where I said the score.
Yeah.
There's less than 10 cuts in the entire thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a video, there wasn't a video put a lot of stock into. It's just kind of like, yeah, the new movie dropped. I'll talk about it real quick. It's not one that I had as much to say about it.
Yeah.
It was this kind of quick little simple video.
Yeah.
A trailer reaction, Stranger Things 5
Yeah.
trailer reaction from
Yeah.
a few days back. It took me less than 10 minutes to film it.
Wow.
Took me less than 10 minutes to edit it. And ta-da, there it is.
Yeah.
Like, the trailer drops, with trailer reactions, they'll drop at the hour, and by now, I can have the video posted by about 30 minutes later, 35 minutes later.
Yeah.
And it's posted, visible. From the trailer dropped to on my channel, it's less than 40 minutes.
Wow.
Well, I mean, to shoot an MCU ranking of 50 movies, that takes 3-4 hours just to film it.
Yeah.
But before I can even film it, I have to watch all those movies.
Yeah.
And I have to write notes on all those movies.
Yeah.
And then I have to come up with new observations. And I'm constantly watching new interviews.
Yeah.
And re-listening to books on the making of the Marvel, so that I talk about Marvel all the time, but I don't want to say the same things. I want to have new insights. I want to continue to offer new and fresh value and be entertaining in new and fresh ways.
Yeah.
So before we did the 4-hour shoot for that, I'd already been writing notes for forever.
Yeah.
For all of that. And then to edit that video, just if I did everything in one take, it's already 60 cuts.
Yeah.
Because there's over 50 movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
If everything's one take, it's 60 cuts.
Yeah.
But I'm also intercutting in little clips and interviews and segments. And so some of the movies, one movie in this ranking where I only talked about the movie for 90 seconds, it itself has 10 cuts.
That's crazy.
Because of these interview clips. And so, like, we're talking about, when I talk about Doctor Strange 2, I have all of these interview clips from different actors talking about their experience making the movie and the scripts changing and things like that.
Yeah.
So just talking about Doctor Strange 2 has more cuts than my entire Frankenstein review.
That's great.
So there's no one answer.
Wow.
So Frankenstein took, I don't know, I think I started filming at like 10, and I think I posted the video by like 12:30.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. And I shot a second video in there, and I did something else. But it was real quick. Like, there's the turnaround from filming to live was like less than 2 hours.
Okay.
Turnaround for Marvel ranking, that's days.
Yeah. Wow. You're a hard worker, man. That's one thing I appreciate is, like, again, you get these videos out, but again, I don't get the vibe that you're, because there's this, trend. I think you probably talked about, you actually kind of talked about in Shelby Oaks' video, which I really love, by the way, where there is this sort of subsection of YouTubers and media reviewers where their whole thing is to, again, rage bait, not really critically sort of break down the material, again, grifting, and even some of them even go as far as having straight up, bigoted takes just to get their videos clicks and stuff. And then one thing I appreciate is that you don't do that, right? Like you just, again, you review the material and that's it. How do we combat that? And how do you feel about that sort of rising subsection on the internet?
I don't know. It's tough. I try not to assume people's motives or where they're coming from. I think you can look at some of those channels, and they started at some point in time because they loved nerd culture.
Yeah.
They loved franchise comic book movies, Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of stuff over the last decade that has been frustrating.
Yeah.
A lot of things that frustrated me too.
Yeah.
And I've made my own videos about them. But you kind of like, do you define yourself based off what you hate or not?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I think what sometimes happens on some of those ones is that you kind of build yourself into a corner of you've built your audience on outrage and anger.
Yeah.
And the supply of things to be outraged about does not meet the demand for outrage.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're making stuff up. And I mean, this happens in anything where politics, strong opinions, things, right, left, everybody plays the same games of manufacturing outrage, manufacturing things. It's like, hey, wait a minute. That is not worth that amount of energy.
Yeah.
You're blowing this way out of proportion.
Yeah.
And so in the movie space, there's just a lot of that where, this week Predator came out.
Yeah.
Predator Badlands.
Yeah.
And it's Disney making a Predator movie.
Yeah.
Disney has made a lot of questionable choices over the last decade. They've stepped on a lot of toes. So you have whole channels built around roasting every franchise movie from Disney.
Yeah.
It's a built-in narrative.
Yeah.
And so they put out a Predator movie that is more lighthearted.
Yeah.
And it's about friendship. Well, you put a big target on yourself. No matter how good or bad the movie is, you put a big target on yourself.
Yeah.
And if someone didn't like Predator Badlands because it's about, it's a Predator movie where the real trophy is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Like, you can. It's a very reasonable that a bunch of Predator fans wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
But 4 days ago, I'm interacting with some guy like Yellow Flash or something like that, and he put out a post saying, "There's no blood in Predator Badlands, and it's a romance." Which, if you see the movie, it's filled with blood.
Yeah.
Just not red blood.
Yeah.
Because there's no humans.
Yeah.
But there's spines, there's bones, there's dismemberment, chopping off heads. There's plenty of gore in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just no red blood.
Yeah.
So what he said was false. And then he said it was romance, which is false.
Yeah.
And he put out a thumbnail that I think said something like, Predator is queer. And you're like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what does that have anything to do with the movie?
Yeah.
And so you have someone that it's so frustrating because it's like, there is a totally valid criticism of this movie that even would be throwing meat to his fans. Like, oh, Predator's got couple plucky comedic sidekicks, and he sits around a campfire talking about his daddy issues and cracking jokes, which is kind of true of the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of misframing it to phrase it that way, but it's true. So you even playing in their own sandbox, there's a criticism to be made that's true and has integrity.
Yeah.
But like people, they're so built into a narrative that they believe every stupid thing they hear about the movie. And so all of a sudden you're lying about it having no blood, lying about it being about a romance between a predator and a synth, and lying about it being like a queer story or the predator's queer or something. You're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
None of that is in the movie.
That's facts.
And that's so frustrating is that like a lot of these channels, I can see the origin of their valid criticism. And they'll say a number of things that I will agree with. But they take a reasonable criticism of one thing and they take it to an unreasonable place.
Yeah.
And they continue going down a path
Yeah.
to where it's like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't criticizing movies anymore. This is something else. This you're just a political channel.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know what this is anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's tricky. It's a strange place. It's the film discourse is bizarre because there's a whole side of it that's not really film criticism. It's culture criticism. It's all about culture. It's culture wars.
Yeah.
It's culture wars presented as if it's film criticism,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's culture wars.
Yeah.
And culture wars have their own valid place, but let's be honest about what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's you're probably maybe the first guy to directly address that. I want to say, man, shout out to you, man, for not shying away. My next question is actually your shirt, your Stranger Things shirt. That looks really cool, by the way. So the Stranger Things, conversations, it's very interesting, right? Promo is ramping up, and there's been reports about, I don't know, I think Millie Bobby Brown or something like, there are reports that she issued a bullying thing, right, against David Harbour, and I don't want to get into that, because that's just speculation. I'm not a tabloid, I'm not TMZ, right? But it feels like, like, if Stranger Things season 5, let's say hypothetically it's like the best season or one of the best seasons, right? Hypothetically speaking. Do you think the take could be that this is the best show since Breaking Bad ended, or is that bridge too far?
I feel like they play in such different sandboxes that I like the people that put Breaking Bad up here.
Yeah.
They're talking about like serious adult drama.
Yeah.
And Stranger Things is a mainstream appeal popcorn show.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think they operate on such different wavelengths.
Yeah.
That it feels like a weird comparison.
Yeah.
For for the obvious reasons. Like,
yeah.
And that that functionally they're so different. And I think there's a side to it of the nature of what Stranger Things has turned into.
Yeah.
With 2-hour episodes, budgets that are enormous.
Yeah.
That are just like, I just finished rewatching season 1 and it's like this.
Yeah.
And then you watch, get to season 4 and everything's this.
Yeah.
It's just huge. It's massive.
Yeah.
And it just converted into this whole cultural phenomenon, and it got the budget to go along with that.
Yeah.
In a way that Breaking Bad absolutely got bigger as it went along, but it never categorically changed. It slowly iterated as
things
the
escalated,
empire grew, but
right?
still, it never. Yeah, like the scope of Walter's empire grew, but in many regards, also the scope of the size wasn't particularly different.
Yeah.
Of what was going on,
Yeah.
where 2-hour long episodes of CGI battles with Vecna and stuff. It's such a different beast from where it started. So I think it's tough to compare the two.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that season 2 stumbled in ways that I don't think Breaking Bad stumbled. I think that there's things in I just don't know that I would put it on that same level of Breaking Bad. And if you're comparing it things like that, there's another show you could throw in the mix immediately, Better Call Saul, which I would say beginning to end ran and at the same writing level as Breaking Bad, while not necessarily being as sensational with the cartel stuff.
Yeah.
I have some issues with Stranger Things here and there, but I mean, it's an amazing show. And, there's a reason it became a cultural phenomenon that, so many people across age groups love it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very interesting how, you see a show like that, and it, again, starts small, and then it turns into this behemoth. And it's, again, you could see how the main... Somebody I saw someone make a comparison to, this is like Stranger Things is this generation's version of Harry Potter, which I absolutely agree with. In terms of, again, audience, scope. I mean, there was a shot in the trailer where Vecna was holding, like, Will's neck or something like that, something crazy like that, and somebody tweeted, like, a picture of, like, Voldemort doing the same thing to Harry Potter, right? And I could see even the showrunners see it, right? And the one thing I find very interesting is, like, for example, I could take, any of the actors, they did an excellent job throughout the seasons, but it feels like each of them have a very different perception from where it started, right? Like, for example, like, I remember where it started, everybody loved Millie Bobby Brown. I remember this vividly. And then now all of a sudden, I swear to you, every post on Reddit, outside of the Stranger Things subreddit, about Millie, it's, again, constant arguing, constant criticizing. She needs to fire her stylist, she needs to do this, she's a brat, yada, 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 she's not good at acting, yeah. And it's just like, what? Even the YouTubers are jumping over this, and it's just like, I don't know, man. If you're one of the leads of one of the best shows maybe ever. I feel like that should give you some leeway. Look, I'm not saying she's faultless. I think Electric State is not that good, right? But I'm not going to act like Enola Holmes wasn't a banger. I'm not going to act like, again, like discrediting somebody just because you don't like them is like, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm in the spheres for some of that stuff to know exactly what you're talking about. I think she has she's only 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah.
And she's been so famous for 9 years.
Yes.
And starred in a bunch of movies. And even like why on earth did she got getting married at 20? And I'm in church world, and we get married young. We don't. 20 is still young in our world. In Hollywood world, that is crazy young.
Yeah.
And then she had a kid immediately.
Yeah.
And there's a side to that where you go, what is going on here? And there's a side to it also where you go, but I mean, she had to grow up 9 years ago. She had to grow up when she was 12.
Yeah.
And she's been scrutinized by the media since she was a tween.
Yeah.
And sexualized by the media since she was a tween. And there was the actor that plays Will was talking about, I mean, ever since season 1, I've had grown journalists asking me if I'm gay. And it's like I was like a little kid and I didn't know how to like what like what are you at? Why is this grown man asking me about stuff like this? And they're like it's a level of scrutiny and stress that is ridiculous.
It is.
And when someone has a crazy amount of fame, there's a backlash that comes with it.
Yeah.
With almost everyone.
Yeah.
And you see it in the world of music where the most popular artists are also the most hated artists.
Yeah.
Because everyone has an opinion about them, whether they're a fan or not. And it's some people don't respond very well to that because it's like everyone loves you and then suddenly everyone hates you.
Yeah.
And that's really weird.
Yeah.
And imagine that happening to you, and you're not even 20 yet.
Yeah.
You're not even 21.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just how are you supposed to respond if you're Millie Bobby Brown?
Yeah.
What is the correct behavior?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do when your people, no matter what choice you make, they're criticizing you?
Yeah.
You look too young. You look too old. The media themselves were sexualizing you and talking about your appearance in a very creepy, unsettling manner when you were very much overtly a child.
Yeah.
And then when you get older and you start to wear makeup and start to look older, they criticize you for why did you go from looking like a kid to looking like you're 30?
Yeah.
And they criticize you for that. And no matter what choice she makes, she's criticized.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that happens when everyone knows who you are. Everyone has an opinion as to what you should do.
Yeah.
And then everyone has an opinion on how you should respond to the criticism you receive.
Yeah.
How do you process all of that when you're 20 years old?
Yeah.
It's brutal. There's a reason that so many child actors turn into drug addicts.
Yeah.
There's a reason that they don't transition into adult life very well, and that none of that is healthy. Yeah. You haven't figured out who you are yet. Yeah. Most people don't figure out who they are until you're about 25 years old.
Yeah.
And imagine you're trying to figure that out in the spotlight where everyone is telling you who you should be and what you should and should not be doing.
That's powerful, man.
Well,
that's a very powerful. Low key, bro. You should make a video about that. I think, I was trying to work on a video, but I don't really have that much time. I think you should make a video about that because I think your perspective on it is a one that I don't see people really talk about in the way you're talking about it. I mean, I watched him recently, and what you're saying is that movie deals with that a lot. Granted, and there was there was a deleted scene that's been floating around where So you know at the end where like Cameron Cage, he just like he kills everybody, right? That was crazy. There's an alternate ending where Isaiah White is like he's like all beaten up, right? And he's been given like, you know, pills and stuff, and he's watching a TV, and it has Cameron Cage like he won the championship in his first year, and there's a shot where there's like a halo. Like he's in his training compound, and bro, that scene was wild. I'm like, man, why did they not put this in the movie? Like, and I was just thinking, like, you know, I would love to see Millie Bobby Brown play a role like that, because it would again channel all that anger and put it in a way that I think people haven't really seen. I think here's my hot take. I don't know if you agree with this or not. I think if there were ever going to do a Carnage, I think she should be it. I don't care what anyone says. I think, again, I think she would, again, embody that really well. And also, I think it'll be something different. I tried watching that Venom movie, the second one. I didn't like that at all because, again, they nerfed Carnage. And just too short, like an hour and 20 minutes. Like, what is this? Like, doesn't make any sense.
And you watch it, you can also feel that they felt like there's whole subplots cut out of that movie.
Yeah.
I was waiting for an extended cut to come out whenever it released, and it never happened. But,
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I like it more than you do, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, for sure. You watch sports?
No, I don't really have time.
Oh, okay.
It's just the trying to watch everything I have to watch to do what I do.
Yeah.
It ends up eating up all my time, and even, you know, the only video games I really play are with my kids and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot that's outside of the movie and TV space for me.
Right.
So I just don't have time to nerd out on other things, and like, you know, the ranking guy. And part of that means like I rewatch things. I don't do a ranking based off of I watched that movie 10 years ago, because that wouldn't be Sean the Critic giving his opinion on it. That would be Sean the Critic remembering what I felt 10 years ago when I watched a movie, not as a critic, not to evaluate it. And sharing what I remember of a feeling is not a good, insightful review of a film. And so then that's where I just put so much work into, like, you know, having to do what I do with integrity, having to watch everything. But and being the ranking guy, it means watching a lot of stuff for one video. And more trying to do more interviews and incorporate other things. And I just things outside of movies and TV just kind of disappear because of it.
Okay. Did you watch it when you were younger? Like,
you know, I've had phases and stuff. I grew up in a somewhat sportsy family. I mean, I played sports growing up, and my dad was into sports. So, you know, a lot of the early 90s was the Dream Team era with the Olympics. And so, like, you know, I followed all of that stuff, and, you know, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and, you know, all of that. That was my era. And so I had a lot of familiar with that. But then, you know, transitioning into adult life, it didn't, you know, interests kind of went in different directions. More music, of course, obviously movies and things like that. So I've never been like, sports are one of those ones that I've never nerded out about sports the way I've nerded out about movies. Maybe that's a way to phrase it.
Okay, good answer. Speaking of music, what music have you been listening to recently?
I mean, I don't listen to any new music. I'm too old for that. There's a legitimate truth to, like, you like lock in on a certain era and you don't expand. The Beatles were my dad's favorite band. Yeah. He even had artwork from John Lennon at our house and stuff like that. So he's massive John Lennon fan. And in the 90s, they came out with something called the Beatles Anthology, which was this big collection of all of these other recordings, and they actually recorded 2 new Beatles songs using tracks they had of John Lennon that were left over, and then they finished 2 songs. So there was the first new Beatles songs in 20 years, 25 years or something like that. So I got that for my dad for Christmas, and and he never listened to it. And I found that interesting. Like, I didn't know how to interpret that until I was about like 30, 35 years old, and I realized, oh, I'm also not interested in anything new with music. I just keep going back to the stuff that everything I listened to before age 25, I'm still into all of that.
Yeah.
But there's only a limited number of new things that kind of make their way in. But, like I was in, grade school in the 90s. So all the 90s stuff, alternative rock, pop punk of the early zeros, all that stuff. That's what I listen to.
You don't listen to hip hop?
A lot of stuff in the 80s, 70s. No, not really. Never really been a hip hop. I mean, there are some hip hop that I listen to, but I've never been a hip hop person. I've always been much more rock, guitar based in all of its different fashions. So whether that's metal, punk, rock, alternative, grunge, 80s, all that stuff, classic rock. The guitar things are more my thing, but also like a lot of synth pop too. But like, there's a lot of different things that I like, but I wouldn't, if you're like things that define me, you wouldn't say hip hop.
Okay. So have you heard of the Clips? Like Pusha T, Malice. They're from like Virginia, Pharrell.
Clips?
Yeah, Clips.
No.
Okay, so they're like this, like, gangster rap duo. They're one of the best rap duos like ever. And they dropped an album like literally a couple months ago. They dropped one on my birthday, that was super cool. And I think you would really like it. I think it's not that long. It's like 10, 11 tracks. You know who Pharrell is, right? All right, so he produced the whole thing.
Because there's a Lego movie about him.
Yeah. He produced the whole thing.
Well, that I didn't realize how much that he was like plugged into. I didn't realize how many artists he'd written for, and how many things he was plugged into. But I, of course, was very familiar with Pharrell prior to his Lego movie. But like, I legitimately didn't realize how many songs that I knew, enjoyed, even in kind of my space of like him working with No Doubt and stuff like that. Yes, I'm doing a rabbit trail there now.
Okay, for sure. I think you would like it. Another album that came out, I think you would really like, is Domo Genesis. You heard of Domo Genesis? I don't know if you heard of him, but he's like, again, he's very new. He does like these collab albums.
Anything very new that doesn't appeal to middle schoolers, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Anything new, the only thing new stuff I know, I learn it really from my kids. And my son isn't into anything interesting or cool, so for him, I learn about Minecraft music and parodies, and so then it's my daughter who, it's like Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay.
This is my world of new music. I legitimately do not know new music.
Okay. So, have you ever scrapped a video that you've been working on recently or ever?
Not that I've, not in the sense of that I've like actually put something together and went, I'm gonna throw this out. There's things that I've, like, in particular, because you do rankings. Yeah. There's ones where I've been like, I think I'll do this. And started working on watching the movies and scrapped it. Okay. Like that's not too uncommon because it's kind of a matter of time. Yeah. Where even right now as we're talking, set my phone to upload my Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie review to TikTok. I'd hoped to do a Guillermo del Toro ranking. Okay. This weekend. Yeah. But I ended up watching 0 of those movies. Okay. So in that sense, that's a scrapped video. Yeah. But like I have lists 3 months in advance of everything I need to watch. Yeah. I had his movies on my list of everything to watch. Yeah. Back in September or August. Yeah. But I just had too many other things that kind of either was of more interest, of more urgency. It was like, realistically, I can't do this. So that's a scrapped video in a sense. One where a couple where I started watching it and stopped was Wes Anderson movies ranked, where it was like eating the same meal over and over again. It's like, I just can't, I don't think I can sit down and watch 10 Wes Anderson movies in a month. Like, I can't, they're too Wes Anderson. They're two the same.
Yeah.
And then I started one on the Leprechaun movies, and I was like, I like my rankings. My rankings theoretically for people that enjoy this franchise or this director. Yeah. All of these Leprechaun movies are terrible. Yeah. So who's this video for? Because if it's just me saying every movie's bad, who's that? Like, I don't want to just watch 10 movies I don't like just to roast all of them. I don't get that video. I don't understand it. Yeah. So I scrapped that one. And there's a lot where there's a zillion things where I start writing notes for a video, and it just never comes to fruition. Yeah. Some of that's as simple as it's the nature of ideation. There's so many ideas. I'm like, this could be a cool idea. This could be a cool idea. Yeah. And so I'll write a note. I'll start put some notes down. I'll collect my thoughts. And sometimes they never turn into a video, but I'll just I'll throw a thought into a conversation I'm having with you right now. Yeah. And that's something I wrote in some note that never turned into a video, but it was a thought that was worth sharing at some moment. But there's a zillion things like that. But there's not like I filmed this epic video where I did this really interesting thing, but it just didn't quite come together in the edit. Yeah. I don't have anything like that because it's an opinion channel. So, there's not too many contexts to where that would pop up. All right. And sometimes there's a few times where I've filmed things and I just never edited them. I actually have a couple interviews where I did some collaborations with people and I just never edited. I felt horrible about it because I wasted someone's time doing an interview with them that never posted it. But and then it was like too much time passed. Where it was like I can't post it now, but if I don't, like, what do I do? So
okay, interesting. Who is the most famous person that you can hit up at any time to respond? Because, again, you have over 300K on YouTube, so you're pretty well known in the YouTube film critic space. So are you connected with all the big guys, or?
Like, in regards to, like, YouTubers in the space that I could have their phone number and stuff? Yeah. I think the person I have their actual phone number that has the most subscribers, I think, is Greg Alba of Real Rejects.
Oh, that's cool.
I've been, I don't know if he's still in the same house, but I went to where he lived a couple years back, and I met him at a show he did with John Campea, and he was just doing meet and greet afterwards, and he saw me and he walked up to me, and I was you're a bigger deal than me. Why are you walking up to me? And so he was real excited to talk with me, and he's like, why don't we try and do something? And just by almost by pure coincidence, this was in LA. I was going to be back in LA 1 week later. Yeah. Which it's never ever happened again. It's the only time I've been to LA twice in a week. Yeah. It just happened to be that played out. And I met him, and so whenever I came back a few days later, he had me over to his house. So I think if you're just looking at like raw subscriber counts, I think it might be him of having their phone number. Virtually every time I've ever messaged Jeremy Jahns, he's responded back. Wow. I think there was one time he didn't respond, but it was an actual like formal request for something. Ooh. So he kind of ghosted me, which was a way of which totally reasonable for him. But every time I've asked him kind of like a normal question, of like he's responded to me, or if I messaged him, he responded. Everything except the one time it was literally like basically I reached out to him about joining me for a Comic-Con panel. Okay. That's the only thing he didn't respond to. I think everything else he's responded to. And so that was, perfectly reasonable for him to. I out of the blue was like, "Hey, want to join me for this thing?" Yeah. And then I guess right along the same lines, I don't have like a direct line per se to Chris Stuckmann, but if I did, he would he knows who I am. If he sees me in a space where we're at, he will walk up to me and be like, "Hey, Sean, nice to see you." Like that happened.
That's cool.
Fantastic Fest. I mean, it's happened many times at Fantastic Fest. But most importantly, this was at the red carpet world premiere of Shelby Oaks, his movie.
Yeah.
He saw me on the red carpet and walked up, "Hey, Sean, I'm so glad you're here." Like, and you can see the video of that. Like, he walked up excited to see me and was like, "Hey, man,
cool.
you make great videos. I watch your videos all the time." Like, that's cool to hear.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the movie space is, in many regards, pretty small.
Yeah.
And so once you reach a certain size, if you're kind of connected and know people will know who you are.
Okay.
Anyone that's connected in the space and engages, you start to know you. And,
Yeah.
If you go out to LA and you go to even press screenings and stuff like that, you pretty quickly get to know everybody.
Yeah.
Or can meet people pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And maybe not on subscriber count, but like Perry Nemiroff, if you go to Cinemark, she's always on the pre-show. And like, I'm just good friends with her. She comes to a lot of film festivals, so we always try and talk and hang out at those and things like that.
Okay.
So, anyway, there's some people I know. I mean,
right.
It's very surreal because, I was watching all of these people that I just mentioned 10 years ago before I started. Like, I just was watching AMC Movie Talk, John Campea, Chris Stuckmann, Jeremy Jahns.
Yeah.
And now all of them know who I am. A lot of them, I'm friends with them.
Yeah.
It's very surreal. It's very strange.
Okay. That's interesting.
And John Campea is one of the people that inspired me to start. He's going to be in town for a couple weeks to do like a meetup because he just kind of drives around the country right now in an RV and does meetups everywhere. So he's going to be in Austin, and like we're probably going to grab dinner, and like it's surreal. Like that he's
that's
like,
cool.
I'm in town. Let's grab dinner.
That's cool.
All the people he can meet up with, he wants to meet up with me. That's crazy.
It is crazy. That's shout out to them, man. Shout out to John. I think he gets too much grief, in the film fan community sometimes. It feels like the narrative, he's shilling, he's criticizing. It's like, nah, he's just John Campea. Like, he's gonna have his takes, and he's very upfront about it. Some people don't like that for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's some of that stuff that just, we talked about already, the way that these narratives get constructed and people run with them, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like, why can't you just be normal?
Yeah.
Has he had some weird takes or bad takes? Sure, but we all do.
Yeah.
The difference is that when you do this for a living, your bad takes, your weird takes, that you said something strange, you made a joke that didn't land.
Yeah.
It's recorded publicly. Someone could clip it out, put it on the internet, and it lives forever. And it's weird the way that like people latch onto the most random thing and define you based off of it.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. And also the one thing, because I don't know if I told you this, but like I had my convocation yesterday. I graduated from Humber Polytechnic for broadcast radio. And it was a super cool, ceremony. And the one thing I was just thinking about, because you probably thought about this too when you graduated, right? Is that, you spent all that time, I spent 15, 16 years in the education system up here in Canada, right? I don't know how it is down in America, right? But I'm assuming it's kind of similar where, your whole life essentially is trying to get out of school. Trying to, have a job and what have you. And now essentially you have your whole life ahead of you. It's kind of a mind bend, kind of a mind fuck, that type of thing. So how did you deal with that?
With graduating from college and transitioning to adult life?
Yeah.
So I graduated from college at 26.
Okay.
It took me 8 years to get my 4-year degree.
Okay.
And I graduated with degrees in Bible and Bible teaching, and I've been pretty plugged in and interning a lot in that world all along the way, or prior to going to Bible college and then while doing it. So mine was a little bit more of a softer transition because it didn't feel like I was I've only done school and now hop into job world.
Yeah.
I'd already done the thing in different capacities that I was looking to do afterwards.
Yeah.
Just not necessarily as the top guy.
Yeah.
But I'd kind of functionally been the top guy in several places in certain regards, in different senses.
Yeah.
So, I graduated and almost immediately got called about applying for a position that led to me moving where I live currently, basically.
Okay.
And the church that I've been at for 17 years now came about because a guy, Tom, that I'd known before all of this called me. And so even where I ended up was a continuation of kind of what I'd been doing 5 years before that. Okay. So my version of it is kind of strange, but that, most of my life story's a little bit unconventional. It's not the cleanest version of anything. It had a lot of rabbit trails and side quests, and whatever Plan A was is not where things ended up. But in another regard, I'm still doing the same stuff I was doing 20 years ago. It's just playing out a little bit differently than expected. And even the YouTube journey, I was doing movie websites and movie reviews back in the 90s, years before I was ever doing church stuff. Yeah. And now I'm doing both of them at the same time. And so which one makes my money? Well, they switch sides, but I'm still doing both of them. So. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have the easiest, cleanest answer on some of that, because I've just kind of existed my own little path. But everybody's launch into adult life is different and bizarre. Yeah. And different workforces function differently, and the world of today is wildly different of the world from 10 years ago. That's wildly different of the world of 20 years ago. Yeah. And it's changing so fast that, I guess that's the big concern of education systems that are supposed to prepare you for jobs that don't exist yet. Yeah. So, in particular, thinking about my children, we have no idea what the world will look like 10, 15 years from now. Yeah. But I'm educating my children to function in that world. Yeah. Why do you do that? I don't know. But the more you can teach people to learn for themselves and adapt, and be hardworking, those are always universal skills. Interesting. I don't know, that was rambly. I don't know what I was saying there at the end, but
it's all good, man. It's all good. I didn't know that you were in the church system. I thought you were, I don't know, maybe agnostic. I never got that vibe, but how do you sort of, again, because it's interesting, because again, like, I'm Muslim, right? And it's very interesting how, like, people perceive other people from doing things that might not be part of the sort of original type of thing, like, because I see so many, again, Christian channels that kind of, again, all they do is, again, they punch down, they criticize, right? And it's just, and the comments are even worse. It's again, like, how do you sort of, how do you kind of steer yourself away from those things? Because there's this sort of, again, there's this kind of stereotype where, there's certain Christians that are, again, very judgmental about everything that's not Christianity or Christ or whatever. How do you, again, avoid that type of thing?
Well, I mean, you could be referring to a lot of different things and it have a different response to each of them. I mean, some of that is it's culture war stuff, but it's not. Like in my brain, it's not actually Christianity. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It's just culture war stuff that someone that identifies as Christian is playing culture war games. Yeah. Some of it is the complication of the intertwining of the syncretism of church and politics. Yeah. And so the too much intertwining of United States Republican Party with evangelical church. Yeah. That I don't think there's anything healthy about any of that. Yeah. I don't think that like attempting to line up the teachings of Jesus with any modern day political party is futile, because it's not. Yeah. That's not what he was doing. He was overtly not setting himself up as a political leader or telling people how to be political leaders.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you're trying to use the teachings of Jesus to say this is how you should legislate, it's like, no. He was telling you how you should live, and how you should love and care about people.
Yeah.
And it gets backwards a lot on both sides. I think there's many ways in which both sides try and take passages about how the early church was run and go, see that, look, this is like a communist society right here. It's like, yeah, but they're describing their church. They're not describing what should be instructive for government structures. Like, it's literally how a church should function, how a church should take care of each other. And if you spend time in church world, that is the way that people help each other in need. It's not the same thing as dictating that to the government, which would be the opposite of taking personal ownership if you're passing it along to the government. But yeah, I mean, I think there's so much of people. As soon as you intertwine culture wars with your Christianity, your politics with your Christianity, you're in for a mess.
Yeah.
Because they're like, as soon as you treat a politician as a savior, you've screwed up. Like, you've completely lost the plot.
Yeah.
And I mean, and like, I think it's wild the way that, people fall into this. Like I don't even know how to respond to a lot of it because it's just so obviously not biblical.
Yeah.
In many different regards, but using the Bible to have spiritual or moral superiority when it's like that is not what any of that means. I think there's a lot of. I mean, I think it's one of the issues that has always existed in all religious circles is the desire to put behavior in front of the heart and loving for people, which is like used overtly the opposite of what Jesus was doing. And it's not that Jesus didn't care about behavior; he very overtly did. But behavior comes second.
Yeah.
You start with the heart and the person, and then behavior follows. And the idea of Christians telling non-Christians how to live is nonsense.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why? It's not. You're not supposed to tell people how to live. You're supposed to tell people about Jesus. But it's not legislating your own morality. It doesn't mean, like, I don't even understand. Like, there's certain things where you can say, is it better for society to, sell black tar heroin at the gas station and anybody can, like, there's things where you can say, like, as a society, there's a discussion to be had about what as a society is good for society.
Yeah.
And of course, a Christian would argue that Christian morality is good for society because it's the whole world views that there's a way that's a better way to live. But it's extrapolated out to such an extreme level that it has. It's like, no, you're just like, I mean, I think the strangest one was 20 years ago where there was this obsession over gay marriage and the sanctity of marriage.
Yeah.
Coming from people that were divorced. You're like, what are you talking about? What are you like? Why are you so obsessed with and in my mind, the sanctity of marriage is a religious thing. It's not government instituted. Like, when you talk about the sanctity of marriage and things like that, you're not talking about a piece of paper from the government and rights to who can visit you in the hospital. Like, that has nothing to do with what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But also, why are you more obsessed with what the government passes in regards to those people over there than your own broken marriage and your own divorces? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Just so backwards.
It is, man.
So, like, that's the stuff that's very strange to me, and I get confused by it. And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's I don't know how to respond to a lot of it because I don't. Well, I mean, I suppose I do in many regards understand how we our human tendencies to lift ourselves up by putting other people down. I understand that, and if you believe in we're sinners, which is fundamental to my beliefs, I understand where some of this comes from, but at the same time, it makes so little sense to me. I don't get it.
It does. So it's interesting you mention all that because there's been a lot of depictions of Jesus and religious figures on the big screen, right? It's always going to make money, you know. It's so funny. There was this series back in the day of what was it called, The Bible or something. It came from like the History Channel or Netflix or what have you. And the one thing that struck me about that is like, forget the historical accuracies. I think that's a whole different conversation. The thing is like, they're kind of, it felt kind of hokey, you know. Like it feels like a lot of the things that can be said in any religious passage, right? It doesn't have to be about Christianity, right? A lot of things just don't translate on the screen very well. I think because, again, like, I'm assuming you watched the Mel Gibson's, like, Passion of the Christ, right? And, you know, say what you want about that movie, but the one thing I do respect is, like, it doesn't hold back, right? It's very violent. But that was the reality, right? Those times were, again, very hard times for a lot of people. And whitewashing it just to appeal to an audience who's not going to watch it, to me, is, again, nonsensical. But then again, I'm not a studio executive, so.
Yeah. I mean, to think in the case of Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson is literally an Oscar-winning director.
Yeah.
And a person that is I don't know which version of Catholic, but is Catholic.
Yeah.
And you have someone that has directed a film at the highest level.
Yeah.
At the time he made that movie, is at the height of movie stardom.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, excuse the planned words, but like it was a passion project.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that movie resonated so well.
Yeah.
Because it had the resources and the talent behind it, and the coming from an authentic faith, and therefore it was accepted by the faith community across Christian denominations, Catholicism, Protestantism, evangelicalism. Despite it being very Catholic in ways that normally would be not as palatable for evangelicals, but it had such an authenticity to it. It was like people were also very okay with that. And here we are over 20 years later, people are still like, it holds up in faith communities. And I think some of it is kind of what you said of the authenticity. There's a strong tendency in church world to define Christian as family friendly.
Yeah.
Like Christian radio stations, their slogan is safe, family friendly. You kind of equate Christianity with being nice and kind of just gentle.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that's particularly biblical.
Yeah.
You don't have to get very far into the Bible before you get to murder. You don't have to get very far into the Bible before you get into affairs, impregnating the help, genocide. The world was barbaric.
Yeah.
And that's true of the history in the Bible. And, some of these stories that you treat Samson as like a hero, like a superhero in the Old Testament, is for kids. He's super strong, so kids like that. He was like a really bad guy.
Yeah,
a morally compromised person that's like hooking up with a chick. Like that's the plot. Like this is like such a non-family friendly story. But like we try and soften it and turn it into like the kid version where he's a superhero.
Yeah.
And so you tell these versions of stories and you kind of lose you like you talk about, I can't speak specifically to the Bible, the one you're talking about, but a lot of them could kind of have a certain hokiness to them because they stripped away the humanity.
Yeah.
They stripped away the reality, the authenticity, the grittiness of life, the harshness.
Yeah.
And so it plays stale, and a lot of them even they strip away like humor.
Yeah.
And it's like that. I think more recently they've started to realize Jesus was human. He probably was funny. He told jokes.
Yeah.
And even if you read certain sections of the Bible, he starts talking about, why are you paying attention to the speck in someone else's eye when there's a log in your own eye? If you play that out, it's like a kind of a funny image.
Yeah.
And so he's like making a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
But then you watch these movies from like the 80s and 90s of Jesus, and he just had like this very like stoic, otherly quality to it. He's just like a wise man speaking truths, but it didn't feel like a guy that you would like.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I think that's why there's a certain section of people that love Henry Cavill's Superman. Because, again, it's just a lot of the same things, right? I think you did a video about this before the James Gunn Superman came out, where you talking about how there was a subsection of Snyder fans that were trying to, again, quote-unquote, sabotage the movie because they themselves have a complete misunderstanding of what a superhero can be or should be. And I think it's the same things going on in politics, the same things going on in religious communities where there is an overlap, right? And it's like, I always tell people that, like, I always tell people, is that there's certain things that are not, surface level. I think you have to dig deeper. And I think the one comic I always recommend for people who hate Superman is All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison. I think that's probably the best Superman comic maybe ever. And it wasn't even that long ago. It came out in the mid-2000s, right? So it's not ancient, right? I think, I understand the appeal of, again, Snyder's work. There is a biblical quality to it. There is a, again, very old sort of epic and grandiose. And look, I always feel like, there is this movie. Have you heard of God's Not Dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you watched it?
Well, I was a youth pastor when it came out. I received a lot of text messages the weekend that movie came out.
Did you watch it?
I've never watched the movie.
Right.
I know the plot of it.
Okay,
I've watched videos about it.
I unfortunately tried to watch it, back in the day when it came out, and I could not finish that movie. It was so, like, wasn't that was preachy? It was so condescending. It was like, it doesn't help that the main guy who's playing the main guy, he's an absolute ass. So again, it doesn't help. It just, it's like, it's so funny because there is a fundamental misunderstanding of filmmaking with a lot of these sort of movies, biblical movies, Christian movies. It's just religious movies in general. You have to be entertaining. It's not just about the message, right? It's not just about the scenes. Like, I for example, there was this movie that came out recently. It was 2 years ago. Have you watched The Pope Exorcist?
I haven't. I didn't watch that one. No, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen
You should watch it. I think it. Obviously, there is heavy-handed messages, of course, but the movie is very entertaining. It is pretty funny. I think Russell Crowe, he had to be cracking up for like half the movie. His accent isn't the best, but like, with him, it's like, hey, like I can at least enjoy myself with this. But, what movie next year are you most hyped about?
I don't normally think that far ahead on a lot of stuff like that. Because I'm so often just like so in the present, and so I normally do my deep research on that right before I do a most anticipated lists. Yeah. Whether that's, I'll do one for the whole year, very beginning of January. I'll do another one right before summer. I do another one right before fall usually. And I'll do kind of deep research, what trailers are out, who has a thing coming out. So I don't have an interesting, deep answer. So it's the safest, most obvious answer, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
That'll probably be my number one once I do the research and everything like that, because I don't know what would top new Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah.
That's a pretty safe pick.
Yeah.
And then him at the top of the world, where he can still get all the money he wants from studios and following up Best Picture, Best Director, everything. And he went, I want to do the epic of Western civilization. You've got the Bible and you've got Homer. I'm going to do the Odyssey. And there's a reason that nobody's done it before, and there's a reason that he's going for it.
Yeah.
So that's I feel like that's like the safest pick.
Yeah.
It's the obvious pick. It's also the right pick.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Having not done my deep research, but I just don't know what would top that.
Yeah. About Christopher Nolan. I was thinking about this take recently, and I rewatched Interstellar, and I was blown away how much it still holds up. I mean, the scene where the black hole, you see it in full scale, it still, again, blew my mind, right? When I watched it, and it still blows my mind.
Did you see it in the theater?
I didn't see it in the theater, unfortunately. It's such a funny story. My brother was begging me to watch it, and I just, for some reason, I didn't want to watch it. Like, my dad, and then him, he went, and they loved it, and I'm just like... And then I watched it, the full movie, I think it was like 2018, on TV, and I was like, man, I should have watched this in the theater. I mean, not to state almost the obvious, but he makes such cinematic movies. Yeah.
And the docking sequence in a theater, I mean, it's amazing at home, but you play that in a theater on a huge screen, it's so good. Yeah,
it is. I was just thinking, like, if he sticks to landing Odyssey, and let's say maybe it's the best movie he's ever done. I think that's the possibility. Do you think he finally gets the GOAT? Like, he's the GOAT, the Michael Jordan, the Tom Brady of directors. Does he get that for you, or does he have to do more?
No, you need more time. I think that when you have, Spielberg started 25 years before him, and he's still going. And I don't think, Spielberg in the last 15 years is as strong as Spielberg of 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But The Fablemans I thought was really good. West Side Story is really good. So, like, Spielberg has a 50-year-long career.
Yeah.
Of making movies in 70s, 80s, 90s,
2000s,
zeros, teens, 20s, 6 different decades of putting out movies that are really great, and he put out some of my favorite movies of all time in at least 4 of those decades.
Yeah. And also his influence, too.
Nolan doesn't have that.
Like, his influence, like, Nolan's influence is insane, but Spielberg's influence, like, we talk about Stranger Things.
Just a whole other level, yeah. Whole other level of influence, and I think there's a diversity in Spielberg's career that's not in Nolan's yet. You have sci-fi, you have a lot of World War II, of course. You have, of course, comic book movies. You have crime thrillers. You have variety in there. You have spy movies. But there's a certain Nolan tone.
Yeah.
The serious Nolan tone, that there's never been just an overtly fun Nolan film.
Yeah.
And I think you go in 1 year, 93.
Yeah.
Spielberg puts out Jurassic Park and Schindler's List.
That is great. That's insane.
And you go, like, how fun, majestic, terrifying, thrilling Jurassic Park is. Highest grossing movie of all time when it came out.
Yeah.
And he put out the Oscar winner, Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Stark, horrible experience to watch it. An amazing
Dark.
film.
Bleak.
As bleak as you can get, but also with hope inside of it. Like, finding the best of humanity and the worst of humanity.
Yeah.
At the same time. Same year. And you go, right there in 93, Spielberg had more, and so overtly more range at excellent level than Nolan has had in his entire career.
Yeah.
And I say that as the person, I think Nolan is the best working director right now.
Yeah.
But I think Spielberg's, range of excellence is just broader.
Yeah, it is.
Of being able to do Schindler's List, and he's able to do Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And both of them are the best.
Yeah.
And Nolan is just a little bit more. Like, we've got different genres, but they're all that Nolan flavor.
Yeah.
In that Nolan tone.
Yeah.
That I love. But if you want to beat my mind, Spielberg is the person to beat. But you could play the same game exactly with
Kubrick,
Scorsese, a lot, or Kubrick. You can go with a Kubrick who had a career that spanned his own 45, 50-year long career.
Yeah.
You have Scorsese's career is now, he's at almost 60 years. Because his first movie came out in the 60s. So he's almost had a 60-year-long career. I don't think you can claim the greatness started until the 70s, but as soon as you get to the 70s, you can make an argument Scorsese's output of the last decade is stronger than Spielberg's.
Yeah.
As someone, I'm totally team Spielberg over Scorsese, but if you look at the last decade, Killers of the Flower Moon over West Side Story, yeah.
Yeah.
So whoever you pick, you've got several people that just have careers that have lasted so much longer than Nolan. So I think, but Nolan also is 25 years younger than Spielberg.
Yeah.
So he's got 25 years to play catch up.
Yeah.
He's got 25 years to do other things. So, that Spielberg, Scorsese are put in this whole other realm of conversation.
Yeah.
Because they exploded in the 70s, and they're still making movies nominated for Best Picture 50 years later. Both of them have had Best Picture nominees in the last 5 years.
Yeah. I think that's an aspect, that I don't... No, musically, I think, it's the same thing, right? I mean, did you watch the new Michael Jackson trailer? Okay. Are you excited for that, or are you kind of weary, Bohemian Rhapsody, producers?
I think it'll. I just don't know what it is. I don't know how you do it. Because Michael Jackson is just such a complex person, and he's such almost like a mythological figure of pop culture.
Yeah.
It's actively difficult in the year 2025 to understand how popular he was in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
Because that level of fame does not exist anymore. Taylor Swift might be the closest you can get to it, but it's still not remotely the same thing.
No, it's
because there was like the nature of the monoculture, the nature of MTV, radio, all of this stuff. Like Michael Jackson music videos, I remember when the Dangerous album came out because my family would watch the debut of the Michael Jackson music videos on the TV show in living color, which was the Wayans Brothers sketch TV show that Jim Carrey was on.
Shout out to them.
And that was actually kind of my introduction to Jim Carrey. Oddly enough, there's a tie. The introduction of Michael Jackson music videos is kind of how I learned about Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But it's not like my family was obsessed with Michael Jackson or anything like that. It's not, but it was just such a part of popular culture. Like, well, of course you got to check this out.
Yeah.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
And there's no equivalent of that today. So watching the trailer kind of reminded me of like that.
Yeah.
But also, there's his abusive childhood. There's the weird accusations. There's the strange behavior. There's the Peter Pan complex.
Yeah.
What's the movie? Is the movie just Michael Jackson, the king of pop? Is it trying to find the person? I just don't know what that is. I don't know what it is.
I would love, I don't know if they'll ever do this, but I would love for the movie to, again, deconstruct them a little bit. Show us, vulnerability, I think that's the least what he deserves. I think that, there is an episode of Atlanta. You probably, you watch Atlanta?
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, so there's an episode of Atlanta, right? And it essentially does what I hope the Michael Jackson biopic does, is that it breaks down how someone of that fame and caliber essentially can make that person feel utterly hollow. Like it's actually kind of remarkable. I think if you're ever gonna do like a break, sort of do a full video about a TV show, I think you should do Atlanta, because I think a lot of what's going on right now, and it also is a scathing critique on popular. Again, it breaks down everything. It talks about race and politics and capitalism and what it means to be human in a world that wants you to be something that you're not comfortable being. So I think, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the problem I run into so often these days is there's so many amazing things out there, and I just don't have time for it all.
Okay. Interesting. Is there a
long list of movies, TV shows I meant to watch, want to watch, and just have never gotten around to? Even stuff like, the Alien Earth, the Alien franchise, like that's one of my favorite franchises out there.
Yeah.
I haven't finished watching the season because the timing of it was like while I was at a film festival, so I just couldn't finish a few episodes, and then because I wasn't going to end up doing a review for it, it stopped being urgent. So I still haven't finished it, even though it's something I'm very interested in for a variety of reasons, and people are curious about my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And so my relationship with what I watch gets very weird because of how it intertwines with my career.
Okay, interesting. I watched Teen Titans animated series back in the day, or
was that a question?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Okay, but you know the character.
I've seen some of it.
You know the character. Yeah. Okay, you know the characters, right? You probably heard it, but the writer of Supergirl is gonna write the next Teen Titans movie, and again, speculation and fan casting and all that stuff. I think the number one thing for me is that they have to get Raven right, because she's the heart of the whole team, and to me she's the best character. She's my favorite character of any fiction ever. Like, I'm sorry, she's amazing. If they don't get her right, I don't care about anything else. The movie's not going to work, right? And she's so intrinsically linked to the Teen Titans. If you take her out, it's going to be like, hey, what are you guys doing? It's like taking out Captain America or Iron Man. It's like, hey, it's not going to work. Like, so who would you cast as Raven and why?
I normally can't fan cast off the top of my head because I typically want to, I don't know, have pretty strict criteria of what I'm trying to do with a lot of those things.
Yeah.
That I don't like going to the most obvious 10 people that are fan cast for everything.
Yeah.
I want to try and dig a little bit deeper. Who are the up-and-coming people? I'll kind of look at like who's killing it on television but hasn't broken through yet.
Yeah.
That kind of has those qualities. So I don't normally have fan casts off the top of my head. So she's definitely one that I haven't put thought into that.
Okay. That's
not a direction I've gone down the path to even know who other people have fan cast or have a consideration for it.
Yeah.
It's just not a direction I've gone. And I normally, if I do something like that, I actively do research. And I start I'll compile just lists of names of people that haven't been cast in any comic book movies yet. And who are just the people on the table. And then try and figure out what are like the definitive characteristics of this person.
Yeah.
And who captures that? Who brings something interesting to the table? Yeah. And I also don't know that I'd be certainly off the top of my head, I couldn't do that with Raven because it's not a property that
you're not familiar with it, right?
I've watched plenty of Teen Titans. I know who Raven is. I've in many different formats know who Raven is. But at the same time, wouldn't be like I have an opinion on Raven's distinctive characteristics. I have an angle that I want to see out of Raven.
Yeah,
that's not a thing. I have thoughts on Dick Grayson and Nightwing, But some of these other ones, or or I guess in this regards, you get into like Tim Drake and things like that. I have thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But Raven isn't one where I specifically have thoughts. Like I also don't have thoughts on Beast Boy or anything like that.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, I don't know. I look at it like this, right? Like if Raven is real, what part of the world I think, and this is just me, right? What part of the world will she be? And I immediately think of is the Middle East, because there are certain panels where she's wearing this similar garments, right? And obviously her skin color is pale, but you could maybe kind of wiggle your way. But I know people wouldn't be rocking with that. But if there was a person I think could do a good job, granted, this is very obvious. I think because she kind of plays Raven in the show. I think Millie Bobby Brown would do a really good job if you want somebody that's big. But I would go with somebody that's not big at all. I'll go with somebody we don't know yet. Because, again, the pressure, we talked about this early on, but the pressure, taking something like that on can be crushing to a lot of younger, actresses, right? So you get somebody who's not really known, then the pressure, again, doesn't, right? Because I look at how Superman got casted, right? David Corensway, I didn't even know who this guy was, which helped him, right? Because there wasn't a predisposed expectation, right? So,
right. Well, and that's the thing for me with a lot of these. I'm normally, I wouldn't be as tied to this with Raven. That it's not the character isn't marquee A-list the way that a Batman or Superman is. But like with those characters, I normally want an unknown. So it's not A-list actor playing A-list character. And so some with Raven, maybe there is some benefit to getting a Millie Bobby Brown where there's the actor can elevate the character's fame. But yeah, I normally like to dig deeper. Like who are the less obvious picks?
Yeah,
that's normally much more interesting to me.
Yeah,
I get real bored when who should play James Bond? Henry Cavill.
Exactly.
Tom Hardy. Like really, this is as deep as we can go. Is big famous movie star?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's that's the thing about but I think casting directors have probably one of the hardest jobs because, again, it's very easy to say, hey, get this guy, and you throw him a bunch of money in, and if it doesn't work out, you get blamed for it, right? Or other people get blamed for it, but they're not part of the process. People forget that. I think there is a fundamental misunderstanding how the movie industry works from a lot of these people online who talk about it for a living, right? And they want to act like they have percentages into that, right? Where, someone like you, where you're honest, and you talk about the things you like, you dislike, but you don't act like you're better than the guys who are making it. That's a very easy thing to do, because, again, hindsight's 20/20, right? So.
Right. Well, I mean, some of it's just stupid. Well, obviously they should cast this person. Well, you don't have the script. You don't cast someone based off of a fan thought. You cast based off of a script.
Yeah.
And what that script turns out to be is far more important than what people on the internet's preconceived notion of the character is.
Yeah.
And so right there, I mean, I think so much of the fan casting gets very goofy.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's very, very simplistic. This person looks like them. Right, but can they pull off the performance? Does it make any sense? And, there's just a lot of stuff that's so overly simplistic in the thinking of most online fan casts. And, not that my fan casts are dramatically better, but I don't know. I think when some people do this stuff and they just don't, they're putting no effort into thinking about what they're talking about holistically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Is there a okay?
Or they'll pick something incredibly. The person needs to be this tall. They need to be this. They need to be, and it's something that's really important, but it's not the most important thing for the lead of a movie.
Yeah.
To carry a movie. So, most obvious one, Hugh Jackman is a foot too tall to be playing Wolverine. Well, but that's objectively true. Also, he captured these other qualities that make for a great lead for a movie.
Yeah.
There's a reason that Hugh Jackman became a movie star after playing Wolverine, despite Hugh Jackman being 11 inches too tall or whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. My next question is, what director / actor or actress you think gets too much hate and why? From the online fan community or maybe your own contemporaries.
I don't know. Like, I think I think some of it's tricky because it ties into culture war type things.
Yeah.
And you have people that become, the face of a side. And so they get a ton of hate, but they get a ton of praise. And so but it's all culture war stuff. That stuff kind of, I don't even want to chime in too much on it because it comes off like picking sides.
Yeah.
I think there's people like Rachel Ziegler that put a target on herself, and she spent 2 years doubling and tripling down on the target she put on herself. And you go, she's overhated in the sense that she is incredibly talented.
Yeah.
If you evaluate her on her talent, she's an amazing singer and she can act.
Yeah.
But she made some dumb comments and never really walked them back or never really clarified, or she went, yeah, I was on a red carpet. I thought I was being funny. I thought I was being snarky and cute. Yeah, it came off stupid. Of course, I don't think that way. But she never did that. And she made other comments that when you put them together, it's like, she has a weird, she seems really condescending. She seems vindictive towards antagonistic towards the past and the things that have made her famous. What is she doing? And so she's I don't know, she needed PR training and never got it, and then she kept doubling and tripling down. But in that regard, she's not overhated because she got put targets on herself and she never took them off.
Yeah.
Well, that's on her. But the internet doesn't know how to distinguish between I think she said dumb things and she's not talented. They're not the same thing.
Exactly.
They're obviously not the same. Anyone with half a brain knows that those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
And so you'll have people being like, oh, she can't act, she can't sing, and she's ugly. Well, come on now, what are you doing? She's obviously a pretty person. She can sing and she can act. Obviously. You're being disingenuous if you claim otherwise. And they'll be like, well, Gal Gadot's prettier than her. Okay, yeah, but for 10 years people have been saying she's one of the prettiest actresses in Hollywood. So using her as your test for if someone isn't prettier than Wonder Woman, they're not pretty. That's a really stupid. Criteria.
Yeah, I think it sort of ties into the thing where, the one thing I always say is that people's first impressions of somebody are often their last, so they're not going to go back and reevaluate how they feel about a person. That goes with anything, right? I'm a big fan of footy, right? Soccer, right? The World Cup is going to be next year. I think some of the World Cup games are going to be in Dallas, Austin, I think. I don't know. I got to check. But there's one comment on one of these posts about soccer, right, that really got me going. And obviously I didn't want to argue with this person, but I thought about it, right? And I was like, oh, what's the appeal? It's people rolling around on grass. It's you don't get it. It's not that. You watch it for 2-3 minutes. There is an artistry. There is an ecosystem of, greatness within that, in my opinion. And there is a reason why billions and billions of people around the world tune in. Because there is something about it that, that draws people in. right? And the same thing can go with anything in any show or actor and actress. I think somebody who I think is so overhated, right? I mentioned Millie before, but I'll mention somebody else. I really think Bella Ramsey has been getting so much stick over something that she can't control, right? Oh, she looks like this, she looks like that. Okay, so I'm like, what? Like, okay, like, it's just dumb. Like, you can only do as much as the script tells you to do, right? So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's an example of the internet being morons. You don't like the writing of a show, and you don't like, even if you don't like that she was cast at the part, which I think you can look at the video game character and look at her and go, yeah, they made no effort to cast someone that looks like her. There's things you can say that are like fair criticisms, but they're not actually criticisms of her.
Yeah.
She's an actress that auditioned for a part and got it. Someone else is the one that decided to not cast someone that looks like the character in the video game.
Yeah.
Someone else made that choice, not her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's someone that was getting a bunch of acting work. She's in Game of Thrones. She's in the show called The Worst Witch that my daughters watch. Like, she had plenty of work where she can act. But people have a lot of issues with people have had a lot of issues with Last of Us 2 since the game came out.
Yeah.
And so then suddenly they do a season based off an unpopular game.
Yeah.
And all the targets go onto her.
Yeah.
And it's like, this was written years before she was involved in this project.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with her. It's just like things like that are just, misguided anger.
Yeah.
And, there's little things here and there that I don't know that she's necessarily made the wisest choices in trying to, deflate all of that or whatever. And there's things that she said that kind of have helped some of it or amplified some of it, but that's a small percentage.
Yeah.
The core of it came from misguided criticisms or mistargeted.
Yeah.
Like, you're angry about the writing. You're angry about the people that cast her.
Yeah.
But you're targeting her.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. So my next question would be it's a question I was thinking about recently. Do you think Star Wars, like, I know you're a big fan of the franchise, and I mean, who wouldn't be? But I mean, do you think there's a world where Star Wars as a whole could just, maybe end for a little bit? Not just end forever, because I don't think that's really possible, because the amount of money it produces every single year is absolutely insane. But do you think there's a world where, like, Star Wars could just end? The storyline, whatever, could just end and we can just leave it as that? Or do you think that's just impossible?
I guess I'm not sure exactly what you're at. Like, there's too much demand and it's too powerful of a brand for it to have an end, and Disney paid too much for it to push pause.
Yeah.
So you have, like, their whole machine is based off of their synergy machine. Put out new movie, TV show, create new characters, invents new toys, invents new attractions for theme parks, has new shirts the kids want to buy, creates a system. And so they're not very likely to put that on hold. Like, it's too big of an asset.
Okay.
When you spend $4 billion on something, there's just like the chances that you'll ever stop trying to make something out of it is very unlikely. I think they'd be wise to push pause and figure out what they should do with it, and get someone in there besides Kathleen Kennedy. But that's not the same thing as it ending, which I just don't. I don't see any meaningful pause, break, end happening.
Okay. Interesting. So, I watched Tron Ares when it came out, and I absolutely loved it. And specifically, the intro was absolutely insane. Seeing it on IMAX, you really liked it as well. I don't know. I really feel like the discourse around this movie and really the conversation around this movie to me feels really, really weird. Like I get it. Jared Leto's in it. And I don't like this guy. I don't think you like that guy either. And it's like, I get it. I get why it's not doing well in the box office. I get why. But for people to say, like, oh, this is the worst movie of the year, I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? And it's like, they're comparing the Tron Legacy unfavorably. I'm like, dude, go back to those reviews about Tron Legacy. They're saying the same exact thing that people are saying about Tron Ares. It doesn't have, again, there's not a lot of meaning. There's not a lot of character depth, and the arcs aren't that great, and some of the CGI is wonky, and the soundtrack carries the film. Like, look, man, I'm not saying Ares is better than Legacy as a movie, because I don't really think so. But like, what's your sort of opinion on that? Because I know you did like a whole ranking of the movies and stuff recently.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird dialogue. The whole Jared Leto thing is peculiar. He's an Oscar-winning actor.
Yeah.
He has a band called 30 Seconds to Mars, which totally independent of his acting career was wildly successful.
Yeah.
And then he's done a bunch of really weird stuff on the sets of his movies or whatever he was doing as the Joker.
Yeah.
And then he's consistently picked the wrong franchises to hop onto. But there's not really an argument to be made that he's a bad actor. There's just not one, because he's not.
Yeah.
And so it's like people be like, this guy's ruined the movie. Really? Like, I don't think you can possibly watch Tron Ares and say, man, this movie would have been so much better if you throw in whoever. Like, who is the person that if you replaced Jared Leto with this actor, suddenly you'd be like, oh, the movie was really good now. I just can't.
I saw people throw out like Glen Powell and Ryan Gosling. I'm like, look, man, I love those guys. I'm gonna watch The Running Man in a week from now. But let's not act like those guys are gonna all of a sudden Tron is gonna make like $500 million. Like, no, it feels like It feels like
what? And you even pick two people that you want to cast Glen Powell, the guy that his whole thing is his Texas charm and his attitude, as the AI character with very little personality. You think that would like? I mean, do I think that Tron Ares would have done a little bit better if it was Glen Powell, who's more well liked? He's on the rise. I think the movie would have done a little bit better.
Yeah, but
only a little bit better. Like, I don't think that would significantly sway things, and I don't think it would make the movie better. And I don't think that would be good for, like, that would actively be bad for Glen Powell's career, because it would just be him doing a part that the whole image that he's building for himself is an everyman.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's an AI man. Like, it's the sort of thing that, like, it kind of like almost works entirely against his brand. And likewise, what you like about Ryan Gosling, in whatever movie you like Ryan Gosling in, it's not because he would be good as Ares. Like these, they do these fan casts and stuff that, like, I think Ryan Gosling being maybe even a bigger established star would maybe give it even a little bit more of a bump than Glen Powell. But still, like, I don't think it's so marginal.
Yeah.
The brand itself is just not as hot as people thought it was. But yeah, just the narrative was bizarre to me.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think the movie was hurt. The simple fact of the matter is Tron has never been as big of a franchise as they want it to be. this movie's visually isn't groundbreaking the way Legacy was.
Yeah.
Because Legacy broke the ground.
Yeah.
And there's not a new breakthrough here. So it still looks really cool. It's still thrilling and exciting, but it didn't have kind of a little bit of the wow factor that 15 years ago Legacy had.
Yeah.
It's just another one of those movies. And I think they misstepped by not continuing the story of Legacy. I think that alienated some people. And then, likewise, the marketing was very confused. Where they're like, we're getting 9 Inch Nails to do the score, which is very, like, you're appealing to people my age, and then you put out a TV spot that has Mr. Beast in it, which communicates to people my age, no, it's for my kids. Like, they literally, we're going to sell this movie on 9 Inch Nails and Mr. Beast. That is a movie with a confused marketing campaign. Like, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to bridge the gap between it's an aging franchise, but we want young people to like it. We think young people can like it. Mr. Beast. It's stupid. It's condescending.
It is.
He's not even in the movie. Like, you literally superimposed Mr. Beast's face onto, I think, Jared Leto or whatever. It's bizarre.
It is bizarre. You're right. Look, do you think a Tron 4 is really ever gonna happen in the future? I mean, let's say like Joseph Kosinski say, "Hey, man," like, because I know he's doing Miami Vice, and the original Ascension script essentially says that Ares is like a part 1 of a part 2 type of thing. Do you think that could be a possibility, or do you think Tron as a franchise is like, okay, like it's gonna be like Legacy, right? We're gonna be waiting over a decade to get any new material?
I mean, it looks like this movie's going to lose $130 million. So I'm not surprised if they do something with Tron 10 years down the line and they try and say, can you make this thing work? I don't see it happening in the near future just because it's a money loser.
Yeah.
And they went down a path that just did not work. But, like, I don't know what the path would be that would work.
Yeah.
I don't think it's obvious. You're like, well, I mean, what if they got Joseph Kosinski? And you go, fair. I mean, he's obviously gone on to become like a much more high-profile, popular director in many regards. But he's not Nolan.
Yeah.
And it's not Nolan returning to The Dark Knight, like, at all. It would absolutely win back some people that were frustrated that they didn't use him for the new one. But I just don't see a path in the near future that would make any sense because they just lost so much money.
Yeah.
And you kind of put yourself in a corner where, like, all right, which story do you continue? Whatever you do is a big gamble and a big bet.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, like, I don't envy those people who run these franchises because it's like you're in a rock and a hard place with a lot of these things. I mean, like, I look at how, like, there was a time where, like, the MCU was untouchable. Everybody was chasing the MCU. The MCU was already making history every single year. They have done everything that a franchise can do and, frankly, should do at a certain point. But next year, man, next year might be the most important year of the MCU. Like, they won back fans with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. Now it's like, okay, was that just a hot streak, or is this something more sustainable? Like, do you think the MCU will continue to be the juggernaut, or do you think it's just going to be like they're going to fade it away and they're going to just go back and just pull the plug on it in the future?
Oh, I don't think you can get back to the excitement that they had in Phase 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of as simple as it's very difficult for something to be as exciting the second time you do it as the first time. So you've already done the crescendo shared universe and you knocked it out of the park. So the second time you do it, you're just repeating what you did before.
Yeah.
But then they screwed it up. They did not build as cohesive of his universe with as popular of characters, building up the movie stars, and with the team up events. They just didn't do it. So then they've stumbled in. And so, like, can you make your 40th through your 45th movies in your franchise as exciting as the 18th through the 23rd movies? Like, even when you say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it does.
That, like, how likely is it that the 42nd MCU movie will be the best one? And if this is such a great story, like, wouldn't they have told it already? And why wouldn't they have explored these characters already? Like, there's just so many reasons why that you don't have franchises this size. You don't put this many movies out. Like, there's a whole, like, all these different reasons why this is not common.
Yeah.
And that's where I just kind of look at it and I go, you know, it can get better again, and they can fix things and they can make corrections and adjust. Absolutely. But, you know, it's just, they did something really special. They knocked it out of the park, and then they kept going.
You know, I made the comparison. It kind of feels like the Patriots dynasty back in the day with Tom Brady, where, like, it would be like if they got, like, let's say, like, in 2019, right? Tom Brady leaves, and they replaced him with, like, I don't know, like Kirk Cousins or Lamar Jackson. Those guys are great, but those guys aren't Tom Brady. Like,
right.
So it's like, okay, do we still keep doing this? Like, look, man, I'll be lying if I say, like, I'm not excited for, like, you know, Doomsday, Doctor Doom, the MCU, you know, one of my favorite characters, you know, Spider-Man, Brand New Day. I hope that's really good. I think the director for that, Shang-Chi, was pretty underrated, honestly. I think the action sequences are, you know, super cool and stuff. But I don't know. It's like, where can you go? Like, I think we're heading towards a world where they're just gonna essentially just reboot it. You know, they're gonna just recast people or put characters on the back burner, you know, and what have you. But again, I say this, like, you know, but the one thing I think people forget is that within the sort of, again, you know, the last couple phases have been as great as it can be. I think people have been trying to rewrite history, say, you know, the MCU was never that good, the MCU ruined cinema, yada yada yada. I'm like, you're kind of missing the point here, you know. So
yeah, and people love the revisionist history games, but doing that stuff. I mean, it was that good, and no, people didn't respond this negatively to movies like in the past. Like, it's all revisionist history, and some of it you think they're movies that kind of play to a younger audience, that you had people that, like, really weren't a part of the conversation during Phase 2 and 3.
Yeah,
they certainly don't remember Phase 1. Maybe they're 2 years old, you know, when Iron Man came out or whatever.
Yeah.
So they don't actually know what happened, and they don't understand how exciting it was. And there's a side to it of also not realizing, like, there was a point in time where Avengers, just doing a team-up movie, was a big deal.
Yeah.
Just the whole experiment was a big deal at one point in time.
Yeah.
It's not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, so we're heading towards the end of the interview. So I'm going to play a little game I do last, you know, I'm going to do like a Q&A thing where essentially I give you two choices between film, actor, music, whatever. You have to pick either or. The difference is you can't say both, you can't say neither. And the catch is, if you want to explain a reason why you picked your choice, you're free to do so. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Christopher Nolan or Stanley Kubrick?
Nolan. It's not even difficult for me. I'm just not on the wavelength of Kubrick. Obviously, he's a legend, but he's just not my wavelength. And Nolan is a formative director for me. I saw Memento in the theater. I had a guy go,
Yeah.
There's a movie that plays backwards, and this is right as I'm graduating high school, and go see a movie that plays backwards. I'm like, wait a minute, movies can do that? That was formative for me, and in a way that Kubrick has just never been that.
Okay. Kendrick Lamar or Kanye West?
Kanye West, because I couldn't name a single Kendrick Lamar song.
Okay.
I don't know if I could name it. I don't know if I can name an actual Kanye song either, but I actually know some Kanye songs.
Okay.
Once again, of the things I don't know much about.
Okay.
Did Kendrick Lamar do the Super Bowl a year ago?
Yeah, halftime show. Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, okay. That's what I know about him.
Okay.
Was he in Fortnite too?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, I was hoping he was, because then I could say I have two things. But the Super Bowl, that's what I know about him.
All right. Beyonce or Prince?
Prince, because that's his golden era was from my formative years. So there's plenty of Prince songs I'm down with. A couple Beyonce ones, but much more Prince would be my speed.
Michael Jackson or Frank Sinatra?
Oh, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
We're not even. My wife and I think she's into some Frank Sinatra and has I think her dad made me listen to her something like that.
Yeah.
None of that stuff. But Michael Jackson, I mean, man,
right.
yeah, like three albums straight, 3.5 albums straight. They were just nonstop, amazing songs. I mean, just a legend.
Yeah,
he's Michael Jackson for a reason. Just like there's not even a competition here.
Yeah, Pharrell or Timbaland?
We'll go Pharrell.
Okay.
Because I watched the Lego movie about him and realized just how many things that he did that worked on that I did not realize that he worked on that were amazing.
50 Cent or T.I.?
T.I.
Okay.
As much as I'm impressed at 50 Cent's physical prowess, there's several more T.I. songs that I'm actually familiar with. Not very many still. There's still a very small number.
Right.
But I don't know of a single 50 Cent song that I like.
Okay.
This is speaking from ignorance once again, though.
Okay. All right. Stranger Things or Game of Thrones?
Oh, man. I wish you could ask me that 2 months from now after we've seen the conclusion. That makes a big difference, because the big problem with Game of Thrones is that they did incredible build-up, and then when it came to the payoff and conclusion, they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, we haven't seen the final season if they actually live up to the finale. That would make all the difference. It took me a very long time to get into Game of Thrones, but once I did, I got pretty into it. I'm feeling, at this moment, I think there's something about Game of Thrones that is a little bit more captivating to me, in a sense, of that world.
Yeah.
But also, man, if we get this Stranger Things 5 and it knocks it out of the park, then it wins, because it actually, closed things out properly.
Okay. Dark Knight Rises or Captain America Winter Soldier?
Captain America Winter Soldier.
Okay.
I think pretty easily. I think Dark Knight Rises is easily the weakest of the Dark Knight movies. It's much on the lower end of Nolan's filmography, where I feel it cuts corners in a way that I don't feel his other movies cut corners.
Yeah.
But its high points are really high.
Yeah.
Most importantly, it stars Glen Powell, that I'm close personal friends with. I've spoken with him for 30 whole seconds. We went to the same high school, and he's in Dark Knight Rises. So there's a lot of huge positives there. However, Captain America Winter Soldier is, one of the best of the MCU and one of the most mature, and did a lot of really amazing things. So I think it's pretty easily Winter Soldier.
Marilyn Monroe or Audrey Hepburn?
Let's go Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. Ana de Armas or Gal Gadot?
Are you saying which one's prettier?
Just like You could say that, or you could say who's a better actor or whatever.
I was just saying, it's pretty. That's tough. That's a competition right there. But I think he can on acting. Ana de Armas wins.
Okay.
On iconic character, of course, it goes to Gal for Wonder Woman. But if we're going to average out just acting career versus being gorgeous, I think Anna wins because she is clearly the better actress.
Okay.
And both of them are gorgeous.
Okay. Millie Bobby Brown or Megan Fox?
I mean, I think Millie Bobby Brown is overall the more talented of actresses.
Yeah.
Megan Fox is really pretty, though.
Yeah, she was.
A very pretty lady. And I think Millie Bobby Brown is still young enough that I still have to categorically put her as a child. So I won't even play that game with her. But I mean, Millie Bobby Brown is obviously on a different level of talent, diversity, and all of that.
Okay. Michael Jordan or Tom Brady?
I'm a 80s, 90s kid, so you got to go Michael Jordan.
Okay.
I mean, and I've got, I own a pair of Air Jordans.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're from my era, I mean, Michael Jordan is, he's from the monoculture era. And I guess Tom Brady was in a little bit of the tail end of the monoculture era, but, I mean, Michael Jordan was just, just so dominant in pop culture.
Mahomes or Kobe?
Patrick Mahomes. I did a little bit of fantasy football, and I had him a couple seasons. And I actually know who he is, so I'm going to go with him because I feel intelligent saying that.
Okay. Oh, boy. Queen or the Beatles?
Queen or the Beatles?
Yeah.
I think I have to go with the Beatles. I grew up in a Beatles household. So, and I think they had the advantage of ending prematurely.
Yeah.
And so it was like they only kept getting better and better and better, and then they ended.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's as true for Queen. But, man, Queen's incredible, too. Yeah. I mean, I say that as I just grew up literally with John Lennon paintings on the wall. Or more like drawings, I guess.
Okay.
But that's that. And my dad had these collector's plates and stuff.
That's cool.
I grew up in a Beatles household, but Queen is incredible.
Okay. Jay-Z or Nas?
The Jay-Z. No explanation, because I couldn't give one.
Okay. Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube?
Snoop Dogg, because they built an amphitheater in the town where I live to do like free concerts.
That's cool.
And they only did a few, and they built the amphitheater so poorly that when they would do the shows, you could hear the concerts from miles away.
Yeah.
And so I heard a Snoop Dogg concert from my backyard. Actually, I could hear it in my living room.
That's funny.
You could hear it at my house. Yeah. Even though it happened 2 miles away from my house.
Yeah.
But, I think either one of them are, in their own regards, icons. I can't say I've ever owned an album from either one of them. But Snoop Dogg, I did listen to him live in my living room. That wins.
Okay. Chris Stuckmann or Jeremy Jahns?
Oh, man. I think if I'm going for, like, a little bit more insight from a review, which I typically would be going for, I'd probably go with Stuckmann.
Okay.
I watched a zillion videos from both of them. I would describe Jeremy Jahns as easily more entertaining and charismatic.
Yeah.
Stuckmann, I think, is a little bit more, and he's trying to be. That's what he's aiming for. He's trying to be a jokester, and he's trying to be like your bro.
Yeah.
If I'm going to review, I'm probably more likely to go for Stuckmann with what he's going for. I guess actually the trick there, okay, because he's film appreciation, maybe this is where I can cheat my answer and say, well, because he goes film appreciation now and doesn't go negative, maybe for that reason I think I have to go Jahns, actually. I think I'll change my answer.
Okay.
Over the film appreciation. I know Stuckmann a little bit better than I know Jahns because I've met him in person many times.
Yeah.
So a personal tie there too. But because of the film appreciation and not doing negative reviews, I have to go Jahns for the sake of this.
Okay. Batman or Spider-Man?
Batman.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's Superman and Batman are this, and then Spider-Man's right below that, but easily Batman. I stayed as a favorite.
All right. Jennifer Connelly or Kate Beckinsale?
Jennifer Connelly.
All right.
And I might have given a different answer, but obviously she's been gorgeous throughout the decades, but she was just still so pretty in Top Gun Maverick that it was like,
whoa.
I think it edged her out on that one on the scale, but obviously both of them are very pretty ladies. Both of them have long careers in Hollywood. Even if you just go acting, I think Connelly is the more versatile, dramatic actor.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Connelly.
Keanu Reeves or Bruce Willis?
That's two very different people. I think I'd have to go Bruce Willis. I think he's a much more versatile actor.
Yeah.
And if you just look at the number, and both of them, they've got so many movies that I love so much. I think, but when you've got Unbreakable, Pulp Fiction, Die Hard, I think there really is so much coming from Bruce Willis. But I mean, Keanu is John Wick, Matrix, Point Break, Speed. There's so many for him too.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I'd go Bruce Willis.
All right. Okay. Zack Snyder or Michael Bay?
That's an interesting one. Trying to think which one. If I have to take one of their sets of movies to an island, I think I'd have to go Snyder.
Okay.
I think Michael Bay, in a lot of ways, is very underrated and underappreciated because his faults are so obvious.
Yeah.
And his bad movies are so bad. But like for me, I'd lean into Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, Man of Steel. And Zack Snyder's just like these are movies that are just like way up there for me. And I'm just not super into the. I mean, I like the Transformers movies. Going back to Megan Fox. But they're not as much of like special movies for me, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
But like The Rock and Armageddon would be like the special Michael Bay movies for me. But like even still, like I'd go Dawn of the Dead, 300, or Man of Steel. They're just on a different level.
All right. Ben Affleck or Matt Damon?
Which one's the better actor? Which one's the better movie star? I think I'd go Damon.
All right, okay.
But I mean, and that's a tough one because they both really have. Affleck, I think, has made a lot more mistakes along the way, but he also has all these comebacks.
Yeah.
Cool little deals, but I think there's just a consistency to Damon.
Yeah.
And he's still done. He has his spy action movies, and but like he has a consistency to him. And,
all right. Okay. All right. Ryan Gosling or Jake Gyllenhaal?
I could go either. I think I'll go Ryan Gosling. I could go either way on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd have to make a chart.
Yeah.
To decide.
Right. Okay. Bob Odenkirk or Bryan Cranston?
Bob Odenkirk.
All right. Okay.
There's just such an underdog charm to him.
Yeah.
Both fantastic, but Bob Odenkirk just has whatever that, like charismatic in a very unconventional way.
All right.
And then he did the Nobody movies, which was just such a fun, unexpected turn.
All right. Haley Steinfeld or Amy Adams?
I feel like this is a pretty random, two very different people. I think I'll go Haley Steinfeld. I really like Haley Steinfeld. I don't really like Amy Adams too, but Haley Steinfeld just has a certain energy to her, and she has a chameleon quality to her that I find very fascinating.
Yeah,
she can look very, very different.
Yeah,
and like she's like a singer.
Yeah,
and like there's like pop concerts. She's like a pop diva deal, and then she'll look very normal girl next door, and then I mean she's fascinating.
Yeah, I think if there was ever a Paradise Lost movie, I think Haley should be the devil. I think that would be insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's so I think I'd go with Haley.
All right.
And almost like in a weird sense, because like there's this way in which she almost feels underrated, despite being like I think she was nominated for an Oscar 15 years ago, when like one of the youngest people ever nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. Great movie.
She's been on and she's been on everyone's radar since whatever that Western was. And she's been in franchises and MCU, and she's in Sinners. But I still feel like she's still underappreciated because she's like, she can be a charismatic movie star, and she's that good of an actress, and she can just look very different.
Yeah, for sure. Next one. Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds?
Babe Ruth. He's Babe Ruth.
Okay. All right. James Gunn or Sam Raimi?
I'm gonna go Sam Raimi because there's just I think James Gunn is just zeroed in on the comic book stuff too much.
Okay.
So he's and as much as I love so much of that, it's like, yeah, but what else have you got, man? And I know you've got, like, I mean, he wrote Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder movie. He wrote it. He wrote those Scooby-Doo movies. Like, he's got more to him than comic book movies.
Yeah.
But he's put himself in that box. Obviously, it's a huge promotion. I get why he put himself in that box if you're going to be in charge of DC. But in terms of you're comparing him to a director, I mean, Sam Raimi has made his mark in multiple genres across a lot more decades.
Yeah.
And he's just done other things. I mean, Sam Raimi's done a Western. Sam Raimi's done a baseball movie. Sam Raimi's done an Oz movie.
Yeah.
He's done lots of things.
Yeah. Okay. Second last one. Need for Speed or Forza?
What was the second one?
Forza. You don't know Forza? The car game? Forza Horizon.
Oh. Well then, no. I don't. I thought you were talking about the movie Need for Speed.
Video games.
I know what Need for Speed is. Well, obviously, it's the adaptation of the video game you're talking about. I know what Need for Speed is, so I'll go with that one.
All right.
I definitely haven't played the other one.
Last one. GTA or The Last of Us?
GTA.
All right. Okay.
By an enormous margin. So I'm an OG Grand Theft Auto person.
All right.
I played the original Grand Theft Auto in the 90s.
Yeah,
and I remember when one of my friends got Grand Theft Auto 3 when he was in his dorm at UT, and I was like, this is amazing. It's in the third dimension. Yeah. And then, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 is just such a... I mean, it's over... This is 13 years old, however old it is.
Yeah, it still holds up.
Really so well.
Yeah.
And to that degree of, like, it's ridiculous how long it's taken for them to make part 6, and at the same time, if you have to top that, I get it. And Last of Us, I have played it, but I haven't even finished it. So I don't like that you can't jump.
All right.
It's like the most nitpicky of things, but like that really bugged me.
Okay.
And I just like the open. I like the sandbox of like having a made up version of Los Angeles that you can just play around in.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Bonus one: Star Wars or Mission Impossible?
I mean, Mission Impossible is dramatically more consistent, but I mean, I would have to just go Star Wars. Star Wars means just a lot more to me than Mission Impossible. Okay,
and second bonus one: Tom Cruise or Jackie Chan?
Tom Cruise. I think it's just much more versatile of an actor.
Yeah.
And actually better movies. Like, if you're just going like, ooh, this stunt versus that stunt, or, fight choreography, of course it goes to Jackie, but, Rumble in the Bronx, and whatever movies you'd be like, man, this movie had awesome fights in it. They're not actually, like, awesome movies on the way that a great Tom Cruise movie is a whole other level.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise starred in a Martin Scorsese movie. He starred in Born on the 4th of July. He starred in a Francis Ford Coppola movie. He starred in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. He was like a lawyer. You go down the list of.
He was like a lawyer. The Firm. Yeah, that's a good one.
The Firm, John Grisham movie, and then likewise in A Few Good Men. He's a lawyer in that as well. He did a couple different lawyer movies.
Yeah.
Like, all of this, almost everything we just listed, is before he became action movie guy.
Yeah.
And so there's just nothing remotely comparable to any of that in Jackie Chan's career. And then you're comparing, Mission Impossible movies to Jackie Chan's career.
All right. Yeah, that's the end of the interview. I'm so glad that we got this out. I mean, I've been trying to get this done for a while, and again, you've been very cooperative throughout the process. It was a real honor interviewing you. It was an absolute blast. I'm trying to get this one posted as soon as possible. And yeah, man, it was a real honor.
Absolutely.
So when I do get this...
I don't know if I was just tired or maybe just too relaxed, or it's the simple fact that there's not a video up here, and so this is playing like I'm talking on a phone call. But I think you got me to rant about a bunch of things I don't normally rant about in videos like this. But slightly less guarded than normal. All right. Thank you, man. It's a real honor. One thing I'll say, though, before I go is when I do post it, would you mind if you, promote this? Because it's probably the first time you've been interviewing this type of depth, so. Yeah, I mean, if there's a link that's easy to share, then I'll see what I can do. And the more that there's things that are easy for me to grab from you and whether share as an Instagram story, on Twitter, or a link that I could easily post somewhere, the easier it is for me to get it out there. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, have a nice day, man. Mm-hmm. All right, bye-bye. Bye. And that is another episode of the Renegade Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Same way I do this one, put this one together. Bye.